Hello students, within 5 minutes we are going to start our session. Hello students, hello, all of you are able to hear me students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, all of you are able to view my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a 1 minute. Okay, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, today we are going to see the last part of our chapter number 1. Okay, just a minute, I will show you syllabus also. Just give me a second. Just 1 minute. Okay, you are able to view my screen. This is personal financial planning, and in the chapter we have seen the responsibilities of a financial trainer, time value of money. Okay, now we have to see KYC, PAN, and Aadhaar. Then we are going to end our chapter number 1. Okay, just 1 minute. I'm hello. Students, all of you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We have to see today the KYC, know your customer, know your customer. Okay. Okay. This firstly, what do you mean by the KYC? The rules of KYC. Anyone know what do you mean by KYC? Okay. Anyone knows what do you mean by KYC?
So to authenticate our customer who need KYC.
Okay, to authenticate our customer. Okay, or the in another point of view, and we are authenticating our customer, but uh, like uh, like as per the provisions of anti-money laundering and combat financial terrorism. For that purpose, all we are doing this KYC documentation. We are verifying. Okay, whatever in the process of money laundering. Okay, we have to protect our economy from this risk of money laundering and terrorist financing. Okay, for that reason, okay, various banking operations require this to cover up the risk of money laundering and terrorist financing. Okay, money laundering here, the money is we have given to only one customer without knowing his details. Then he has gone out of the country. Then it will become a money laundering case. Okay, that's the reason we have to know our customer, who is our customer. We are going to verify the process and we try to cover up the risk. Okay, this most important aspect for the we are going to collect the information of the customer. Okay, to stop money laundering. Okay, we have to know that who is the customer, where he's staying, and all details we have to know that. We want to know, then only we are able to going to give a loan. In some cases, without knowing the customer, the banks has given loan to that particular customer, and customer is out of country, and the person is not aware, not is not in the nature for that particular name the account is opened, and the particular account holder has got taken a huge amount of money as a loan, and he is not there in the universe or not there in the nature. Okay, that's the reason this KYC came, and we have to stop the process of money laundering. Whatever funds we are giving, we have to know that where it stays. We are going to check the what we can say the uh, authenticating the person we are doing in the KYC. You can say simply. Okay, this is a to stop money laundering. Okay, the RBI made certain rules and regulations for stopping the financing of terrorism, according to which the bank has framed the policy of recognition and approval of customers having business relationship. Okay, to how we going to maintain, we have to enter in the business relationship with the customer. We have to know the we have to complete the KYC of the particular customer. We have to recognize and approve the customer. Okay, we have to recognize and approve the customer. Like before KYC was introduced in 2002. Before that, there was a there was a account holders. Okay, though they were not in the universe, they were not in the nature, but on their name the account is open. Previously, there was no any condition to verify your detail. Just you have to write and you have to submit your document. But you like nowadays the Aadhaar card is compulsory to open a bank account. The Aadhaar card is a database created by the our government, and they're going to recognize the data. From that data, they were going to know that where you stay and all details from that number they were going to know. Okay, the various before trying to establish a relation between the customer, the bank will do KYC, and they were going to recognize the person. It is the person is a policy, or the person is not there, the person is going to make a fraud. They were going to recognize from recognizing the customer, and they were going to approve the relationship. Then only they will go with the relationship, create relationship between the customer. Okay, it is mandatory for all the branches to prepare and manage the document on the customer relationship and transactions. Okay, customer relationship document we have to, for all banks it is a mandatory. They have to have a customer relationship documents like Aadhaar card, PAN card of the customer we have anyhow. The various rules of KY Know Your Customer stands for formulated by Reserve Bank of India which is adopted by all the banks. They also follow the provisions of anti-money laundering and combating financial terrorism. To stop financial terrorism, this is one of the case where here we are recognizing the customer. Why he is transferring the money from one place to another place? Okay, we will recognize that who is the particular person. See here, previous in before 2002 there was a terrorist funding because anyone's name we will open an account and we will transfer the funds, but actually the person is not there in the universe, and the bank will got to know that from this particular account the funds has been transferred, and we bank know that because the authorities know that from this account holder's name is this, but the person is not there in the universe, but someone has opened account. For that reason, the KYC documents are compulsory before making a relationship between the customer. The bank always complete the KYC documentation. Okay. Okay, KYC involves carefully finding out the aim and intention of customer for opening an account in our bank, what is his expected revenue in the account and source of wealth and his net worth of the person of opening an account, source of funds of depositing their account, the money in the account, that all we are going to know that. See here, suppose a bank has taken a document like Aadhaar card has taken bank, your Aadhaar card number or your Aadhaar card verification they have did. From that verification, they will going to know that where you stay, where you are working, where how much, what is your PAN card number, how much you are getting regularly, how, you are filing your income tax return or not. That all details they are going to get from this just account number. Where you are studying, that all details they are going to get. Like those who are in our institute also, those who have taken admission, at any point of time they have mentioned their Aadhaar card number. Okay, just a 1 minute. Hello, students, all of you are able to hear me? Okay.
Yes.
The commercial bank, before going to have any relation between the customer, they will verify their documents. Okay. Like see here from the KYC number, they were able to find out your PAN card number, where you're working, they were going to get the details. Okay, how much you are getting a monthly salary, they're going to get to know. And whatever funds you are depositing in bank or in your bank account, the source of funds they will know. Okay. Students, all of you are getting my points? All of you are able to hear me? The source of funds, from where you are getting that funds and depositing the bank, that all details they were going to know that. But previously the system or the KYC system was not there in before 2002. There was a terrorist funding were happening, but authorities were not able to catch the person because the person is not there in the universe. He is not there. How we can caught the person? That's the reason the KYC documents are important, and all banks have started to to follow. They were following the anti-money laundering provisions and combat financing terrorism provision. They were following, and they were regular. They were checking they were maintaining the KYC documents or customer relationship documents, you can say. They were maintaining with them, and they were then only they were going for further with developing the relation between the customer. Okay, what is the need for KYC? Okay, need for KYC, like Financial Action Task Force, this is FATF, Financial Action Task Force, spotted the need for much effective guidelines for the KYC. These guidelines were needed the hour to make the following means we require this documents, or this Financial Action Task Force has given guidelines. You have the KYC documents to prevent the combat finance terrorism and anti-money laundering. To prevent this, you have to verify, you have to maintain the documents of KYC, then only you can go for that. If you are not making if you're not knowing the customer, you are opening an account, and what is going on in account, you are not aware about that. If you have his documents, KYC documents with you, the Aadhaar card or PAN card number you have, then you are able to know that what is the source of money he is depositing in your bank account, how much he is earning, where he is working. Okay, all the details you are going to know that. Okay, then where he is studying also, he will know from the KYC document, from the Aadhaar card number, we will know that the particular individual, where he is working, or he is studying, or he is out of the country, or he has gone in which particular area he stays. All the details we are going to get to know that. There is a need, like Financial Action Task Force has given guidelines to all commercial banks to follow the KYC documents, to verify the KYC documents. Okay, to if we are verifying this KYC document, then only we are able to we are able to we are able to follow the provisions of anti-money laundering and combating finance of terrorism that we are doing. Then that's the reason in 2004 actually these act like financial action task force circular was passed in the year 2004, and then it will come into the existence. All of the banks, commercial banks, they were following the KYC documents. And why there is a need to prevent this anti-money laundering and terrorist financing. Okay, terrorist financing and anti-money laundering, we have to stop them. That's the reason these KYC documents are important. The applicability of KYC: to open a bank account, one need to submit the proof of identity and proof of address together with a recent photograph. Applicability: whenever you are going to open an account in a bank, they will ask you one of the proof of identity and one of the proof of address. Okay, they were going to ask you one address proof, one ID proof you have to submit, then only we are able to open your bank account. Or again, you have to submit your recent passport size photograph, then only they were going to open your bank account. Again, whenever you are going to applicability of KYC, whenever you are going to invest in any of these schemes, mutual fund schemes, wherever you are investing in mutual fund, like any mutual fund company, you can take SBI, ICICI, Prudential, HDFC Life, anywhere you are investing, like Birla, anywhere you want to invest your funds in a mutual fund, you have to comply with KYC documents. Okay, KYC documents are required. KYC has to be done while investing in the mutual fund or in the capital market. While opening Demat account also, they were going to ask you your KYC details. KYC detail means address proof and Aadhaar card and one passport size photograph. When there is not enough document with the bank in the existing customer, they will going to ask you again, you have to comply with the KYC. Now you can see, now I will tell you one of the example. Every year, or after specific some period, like 3 years or 5 years, after specific some period, the banks will ask you to their customer to submit their KYC documents. Okay, after 5 years, they will ask the customers to submit their KYC documents. All banks, all commercial banks, all we have faced this type of issues, like commercial banks were asking to submit your KYC documents. Okay, after 3 years, after 5 years, you will find this, all the commercial banks, they want to update their KYC. Okay, update their KYC means we have a KYC document, but after some period you have changed the address, you have changed the name, and what will happen to your document? They want to verify that every 3 years, 4 years, they were going to verify. As per the guidelines of RBI, they will have to do that. Okay, KYC exercise is necessary for credit cards and debit cards, and also any supplementary card like dine out card, any card you want, you have to comply with the KYC documents. Okay, since the debit cards are issued to the account holders, when they were opening a bank account in the bank, the KYC procedure they have to complete. Then only the debit card will be issued to the customers, account holders. Okay, students, all of you are getting my points? All of you are with me? Students?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Now we will see documents required in KYC. The documents required in general, like for individuals, first document is a PAN card, proof of identity Proof of identity means a PAN card you can submit, passport you can give, driving license you can give, or ration card you can give as a proof of identity. Then next part comes the second document, that is a proof of address. Proof of address, bills of utilities like telephone bill, LPG connection bill, LPG bill, electricity bill, bank statement, ration card. Okay, these all are accepted as a proof of address. Then they will ask you the income proof. Okay, for mutual funds they will ask you income proof also, how you are going to get this income if you are investing in a mutual fund. Okay, it is if you are invested then only it is needed. If it is a regular document to submit an KYC document for in a bank, they only ask you two documents: address proof and identity proof. Okay, now we will see the objectives of KYC. Okay, KYC, there are like objectives like to KYC enables bank to avoid the criminal aspects of money laundering. Okay, this KYC documents enables or it avoids the criminal aspects like money laundering, anyone doing a money laundering, anyone unknowingly transferring some amount, big amount to a particular individual without knowing, giving the reasons. See here, when you are transferring a big amount, the bank definitely they are going to pop up the message to them, someone is doing a huge transaction, and the manager or someone else call you, wow, to whom you are transferring this amount. See, you are a student at the age of 25, you are a student, 23, you are a student, and you are transferring a 1 crore rupees to someone from your bank account. Okay, or you received 1 crore from anyone else also, bank will caught you. Bank will ask you, how you have received this much amount, this is huge amount, what is the reason behind that? The bank definitely will going to ask you. Like for that reason, to avoid the criminal aspects of money laundering, that's the reason we have to follow the, means we are following the objective, means we are following the KYC documents. Okay, we are doing a KYC. This is one of the objective, to avoid criminal aspects of money laundering. Okay, next is it empowers the bank to identify the customers and their financial transactions. Okay, like it empowers the KYC documents empowers the bank to identify the customers and their financial transactions, how much financial transaction is they going to do, and we have to know the identity of the customer, and it will definitely our means minimize the risk more efficiently if we are knowing the account holder and their financial capacity. We are knowing, then we are able to understand that he will do this much trading or this much account will be functioning. Like someone is regularly earning a 10,000 rupees, like he will maximally he will deposit in the bank like 5,000 rupees or 6,000 or 10,000 rupees maximum, not more than that. Okay, then the bank also know that this will minimize the risk. Okay, managing it will minimize the risk for the bank if we are knowing our customer very well. Okay, we are identifying the customer, we are identifying the financial strength. Okay, financial transaction, financial source we are identifying, definitely we are able to minimize the risk. The banks will minimize the risk. Next, it is required to establish a suitable control measures for finding and informing the happening of any default activities regarding the prevention of law. See here, if you know that the account holders very well, then only you are able to guide the account holders whenever there is a suppose he is not following the law, or he is preventing the law and regulation. If not, he is not following. If you know all the details, then only you are able to guide the customer or inform the customer what in irregular transactions you are doing, that you can do. The other objectives of KYC is to like to someone is not following the rules, for them we will guide them to follow the rules, and we will ask them to follow the rules. Okay, that we can do in a KYC. These are the KYC objectives. Now we will see the norms of KYC. Students, all of you are with me? Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Just
Yes,
give
sir.
me
Got
a
it, got it.
second.
Yes, sir.
It's so simple, the KYC. Just 1 minute. Okay, just give me a second. Huh? Just 1 minute. Okay. Now we are going to see the KYC norms, which are the norms we have to comply. Okay, the bank need to maintain the scary of the information, or whatever may the scary of information given by the customers for at the time of opening the bank account. They have to maintain that. The other information also they have to collect, like who is going to consent. Suppose his nominee is appointed by the customer, he has to know the nominee details and all that. That all documents he has to know that. Okay, the bank should make sure that the payment of 5,000 rupees and or above should be made through a demand draft only. Okay, demand draft or a mail or telephonic transfer or any another mode. And like if they were not able to withdraw this much amount from at a one stage. Okay, if you want to withdraw, you can withdraw through check, or you can issue, or you can have a demand draft of that. Just 1 minute. Okay, students, all of you are there with me. Okay, anyway,
Yes, sir.
like
Yes, sir.
as per the KYC norms, the account holders can withdraw maximum 50,000 rupees, or if they want to make any payment of above 50,000 rupees, he has to issue a check, or he has to make a payment through demand draft only. Okay, that can be, it is one of the KYC norm is there. Like bank are not allowed to make a payment of check. Okay, or check on a particular date or later announced 1st April 2022, sorry 12. Okay, not allowed any make any checks. Okay, again there is a checks where change, like all checks where nowadays having a facility of electronic transfer. Okay, we see that this is a happened because of the KYC. Okay, this because of the KYC norms, the checks are not allowed to make such payments, you can say. Okay, the bank need to make sure that the terms of Foreign Constitution Act 2010 should be followed whenever required. The bank have to follow this norm also, this Constitution Act. Okay. Now we will see the KYC operational policy, how the KYC will operate. Okay, firstly, in the KYC operational policy, we have to see the customer acceptance policy. Okay, how we will accept this customer. Okay, see here, again the bank before starting a business relationship with the customer should make sure that his relationship is to be against the principles of customer acceptance. Okay, we will see that there should not be whatever policies we have. As per the policies, we have to identify the customer. The account should not be opened in identified or false or binary names. See, your first thing is that the bank has to open the account as per his name is given as per in his KYC documents or in his Aadhaar card. We don't have to open the name or the unidentified or a false or a binary names. The customers are classified according to the risk involved in the type of business activities he is doing. Okay, location of the customer is also one of the part to bifurcate the customers as per their risk. Okay, made out methods of payments or volume of turnover he is doing, and the financial status of the customer. On that basis, we will categorize the customers. Okay, in order to open, like we are going to open account like saving bank account, we can open current accounts or term deposits, we can open. At all times, we have to know the financial condition of the customer and type of business activity he is doing, how he is generating the funds, source of funds. We have to know that. With all details, we have to know that how much is the annual income. Definitely, whenever you are opening an account, this all details they are going to ask you. Okay. Then again, see here the risk of the customers, or on the basis of their uh, they have their relation between the bank, then they were going to divide, then they will classify the customers on that basis. Okay, how many years, from how many last 4 years or 5 years, how many years he is with us. Okay, low risk customers. Okay, they will ask the low risk customers. Low risk customers means those who are having definitely uh, low risk customers, this account is functioning not regularly, but it may have some transactions were happening, but not a regular, you can say it is a Once in 3 years we will ask the KYC documents. Okay, KYC documents. If the customer is a low risk customer and he is doing a good transactions and he is authenticate, he is not making any fraud or he is not making any, he not obeying any law. Okay, he following all laws, then we will say that is low risk customer. And high risk customer, his turnover, sorry, high risk customer where his turnover is more in the bank account, in a particular account, the over withdrawals and the deposits or the issuing checks and the transaction happening high volume, then we will say it is a high risk customer and we will ask this customer to comply the KYC every year. Every year he has to submit the KYC documents. If the customer is turnover of that customer's bank account turnover is high. Okay, medium risk, okay, he is a not low risk customer or not medium high risk customer. He is doing activities regularly, but at the same time the banks will ask you to comply these KYC documents every year. Okay. Now the second point, firstly we have seen the customer acceptance policy, how we, to whom we have to accept as a customer. The second point in KYC operational policy, we are going to see customer identification procedures. Okay, customer identification refers to recognition of customer and validating the customer's identity with the help of truth worth and separate source document and date or information. Okay, we are going to identify the customers on the basis of the customer identity with like a trustworthy proof he has given, source of document we know that the data he has provided is authenticate. Then we will identify it is he is a particular customer. We will identify the customer. Okay, then customer identification is done at a various stages. Hence the customer identification is done while formulating banking relationship, while opening a bank account at a branch, while sanctioning a loan, while providing overdraft facility. We always try to identify the customer. Okay, if any data he has not submitted the KYC document, any one document is not submitted, we are not going to make a relationship or we are not going to have the formal relationship between this customer, you can say. The customer must personally come to the bank with a view to open an account. Before opening the account, it is necessary for the bank official to meet the customer. Okay, see here in customer identification, whenever he will come to personally to the bank and he will say, he will try to, his aim is to open a bank account. Okay, then only we have to open an account and the bank official they were going to guide you how to open an account, what documents he required and all that they were going to tell to the customer. Okay, new customer. Then KYC operational policy, here again monitoring and reporting of transaction. Okay, the transaction should be monitored according to the risk attached to the account. See here, the transactions of high net worth individual transactions, the banks will going to monitor. See here, if you are doing a regular transaction of 1 crore from your bank account from your current account, and in that particular bank you are the highest turnover having in your bank account, then the bank manager or banks, they were going to monitor your transactions. Okay, and any transaction they will feel that it is a difficult or huge amount transaction, it is uncommon activities you are doing, then they're going to ask you, they're going to stop the payments or they're going to stop the functioning of your bank account if the activities are uncommon activities. Okay, you are transferring money from your account from all over India, in all states you are transferring your money and your funds you are transferring, but your source of income is one and why you are doing this activity, you're going to question it out. Okay, every weekly you are transferring some amount, you have a pattern of transferring amount to particular accounts or all over India. It is uncommon activities, they feel that it is uncommon, then they are going to stop the functioning of your account, they will call you. Okay, and why you are doing this particular unexpected activities. Normally you are not going to transfer huge amount to particular person, but why you did that, why you are doing, what is the aim behind that, they are going to ask you. They will monitor and report the transactions. They will, whatever transactions you are doing, they are going to monitor, someone will going to watch you in the banks. Okay, if they found that any transaction is uncommon, okay, they will give this transaction to anti-money laundering team. Okay, AML, anti-money laundering team. Okay, and they will, and this case goes to the again the Prevention of and Money Laundering Act. They will follow the procedure, they will going to follow. Okay, again it will goes to the higher authorities, you can say. Okay, then see here, uncommon activities are there in your bank account. Definitely the bank official will going to catch you. Uncommon activities, uncommon activities means, again, see here, I am going to tell you, you are going to transfer 1 crore to a particular individual who is in Meghalaya. Why you are doing this transaction? One first time they will see that, okay, once yes did, okay, then second time again you are doing a transaction to 1 crore of rupees transaction, and you are transferring to in the Tamil Nadu. One of the client, one of the account holder is there. On that account holder you are transferring your huge amount. They're going the second time, definitely they're going to stop your payment, and they're going to ask you, call you and ask you why you are doing this transaction. What is the aim behind that? What is the source of your funds? Where you are working? How much salary you are getting? Or what is the business you are doing? What is the source of funds? That all they were going to, because of this Financial Action Task Force. Okay, FATF, Financial Action Task Force. It is a passed. It is circular was passed in the Parliament, and that's the reason they have one recommendation, and banks have to follow these guidelines. Okay, RBI is implemented KYC document. Okay, KYC Act as implement, RBI has implemented this policy, means that all commercial bank have to follow the policy. Okay, any uncommon activities going on in your account, they were going to monitor, and they were going to stop the particular payments, or they will ask you the reasons behind that. Okay, this is there in the bank's hand, you can say. Okay, next point we are going to see in the KYC operational policy, risk management. Risk management is important to formulate the proper structure including the management of management of mistakes and systems and control and other issues, because the bank has assumed the risk based method for exercising risk management policy. Okay, they will see that we try to minimize the risk. All while you are depositing the money in the bank, bank is a safer, and we are going to deposit the money in the bank. And the bank also see that while giving a loan, while sanctioning any amount to any customer or any lender, they will see that they were following the KYC documents or not. Okay, how much, where he stays. Actually, they were going to again verify the documents. Again, they will verify the customers, identify the customers. Okay, we will firstly acceptance policy again we will do to minimize the risk. Okay, bank will going to do any loan to any customer. They will again analyze the customer identification. Again, they were going to do. Okay, the the compliance will inform the audit committee if there is a mismatch in the KYC documents. Okay, or any money laundering activities were going on in the organization. Again, they're going to inform to audit committee, and they were going to meet regularly. Okay, in a quarterly they were going to meet the intervals. For them, they were going to intimate. Okay, this is all about the KYC operational policy. In KYC operational policy, there are 4 points are there. First is customer acceptance policy, customer identification procedure, and monitoring and recording the transactions, and then last is risk management. Okay, this much is clear, students. Hello. Next, yes, we are going to see the permanent account number, PAN. What do you mean by PAN, permanent account number, and necessity of PAN, features of PAN, types of PAN, and merits of PAN, that we are going to see today. Okay, and then we are going to stop. Okay, permanent account number, it is a income tax department issues permanent account number called PAN to all those persons who apply for it. The application is made in the form number 49A along with the prescribed fees and documents. Computer allots the PAN randomly. Income tax department can get all information about the assessee from it. Assessee means the person who is liable to pay tax is the assessee. Okay, assessee, the person who is liable to pay tax, a person or individual. There are 7 different entities are included in the assessee. Okay, we are going into detail when we are going to study the direct taxation part. Then I will tell you what includes in the assessee. there are different 7 individuals including assessee. Okay, the PAN card number is a 10-digit number. Okay, this is a alphanumeric number. Okay, which is randomly selected, allotted by the computer, and it is again I will tell you, first 5 characters, 5 there are 5 numbers are alphabets, and again 4 numericals, again 1 alphabet. Okay, in this way there are 10 digit PAN number you are going to get. Okay, like see again here the in PAN number, first 3 characteristics. Okay, the logic, there is a logic behind issuing the PAN number. Okay, then the first 3 characteristics says the series. First 3 characters says the series. Okay, series running from AAA to ZZZ, the series, and the 4 character, that is whatever may be the, but that is says P. Okay, PAN represent the PAN holder, P represent the PAN holder, individual, or it is he is an individual or a firm or a company or a HUF or a association of person or a trust. You will see first 4 digit in your PAN card number, it will be the series. First 3 digit is a series, and 4th digit, if you are an individual, P will be there. If you are a firm, F will be there. If you are a company, C character will be there. If association of person PAN card number is there, then A will be there. If it is a trust PAN card number, T will be there. 4th character, you will see in your PAN card number, 4th character is P. P is an individual. P stand for individual. Okay, in your PAN card number, anyone can tell, anyone PAN card number you can see. My PAN card number is AQM PM. Okay, AQM PM. AQM, first 3 series, then MPM. M is Mahesh, again it's individuals. Okay, likewise it will stand if it is a, if anything, any 4th character is your name, individual's name you can say. Okay, individual's name, 4th character, A. Okay, AQM PM, AQMPM 9127A, it is my PAN card number, and the 4th digit it shows a P. P is a individual, for individual. In your PAN card also you can see your number. You will find the 4th digit is a P if you are an individual. Okay, it's clear, student, this much. What do you mean by PAN card? Now we will see necessity of PAN card.
Yes,
okay, why we require the PAN card? What is the necessity of PAN card? File income tax return, you require PAN card. Any correspondence with the income tax department, you require PAN card. Then only they were going to entertain you. The person, they will identify on your PAN card number, they will identify the name of yours. Submitting challans for payment of tax, for filing the income tax return or payment for income tax, you have to require the PAN card number. And at any time of verification of identity of assessee in the income tax department, you required PAN. Okay, you to open a bank account, you required a PAN also. Okay, if you want to do the import and export of goods, then also you require the PAN card. Okay, person who will register under the particular act, okay, they require a PAN card. Okay, like for it is a unique number for every person. Okay, if you are quoting PAN card if you are quoting PAN card, wrong PAN card number you are quoting, it is an offence for you, and which will be punishable with a fine of rupees 10,000. Okay, if you are means you are not telling you or not, you are wrongly quoting your PAN card number, you can say. Okay, PAN is actually used by income tax department in our account number on which all details relating to person income are stored. Okay, see here, big income tax department, if you are quoting a wrong PAN card number, definitely they will going to fine you. It is an offence for them, because they will charge 10,000 rupees fine to you if you are wrongly quoting your PAN card number in income tax department. Okay, now we will see the features of PAN card. Features of PAN. Quick response code having details of PAN applicant is printed on PAN card for enabling verification of PAN cards. We will verify that the QR codes now quick response like QR codes were there nowadays, but previously they were not QR codes, but nowadays the QR codes are there to recognize or the applicant, okay, and enable the verification of PAN card. We will verify the PAN card on that basis also from your QR code. Okay, then next feature is a okay, it is incorporated for particular names like father's date of birth will be there, like fields were there, and position of PAN card and signature has been nowadays has been changed. Like it is a particular way was there. Like in at some cases at some time the photo will be there, below that there is a signature. Nowadays you can find there is a QR code nowadays came, and QR code is printed on a PAN card nowadays. Okay, now we will see a types of PAN cards, types of PAN. Okay, form number 49A is for individual citizen of India, individuals who cannot who are not Indian citizens. For them 49AA form will be there, the individuals who are not the citizen of India but who are the citizen of India, for them 49A. Citizen of India and residential status, these two are different. Okay, the PAN card issued for the non-Indian citizens also. Okay, but residential status we will see that again there are types, again there are norms are there to categorize residential, non-residential, ordinary residential, that we are going to see when we are going to touch to direct tax. But the 49A is for individuals, citizen of India, and again it is for Hindu undivided families, companies registered under the Companies Act, association of persons, for them 49A is applicable form applicable to get a PAN card number. But 49AA, it is applicable for individuals who are not Indian citizens and the companies registered outside India. Okay, the companies which is registered outside India, the companies from foreign companies, their head office and the branches and listed and registered in the out of the country, and they were functioning in our country. For them 49AA form will be there as a type of application, type of PAN application. Okay, and again limited liabilities companies which are outside India. Within India cell, if it is within India, 49A form will be there for them, but outside India then 49AA form will be there. These are the two types of PAN. Okay, those who have got the PAN card while filling the form 49A, all the citizens of India and all Indian companies, you can say all associated of person which is in India, and the firms including LPP, partnership firm and registered in India and local bodies, they can get a PAN card while filling form 49A. But 49AA, it will for individuals who are not having the citizenship of India and the companies registered outside India and the registered office of the companies outside India, firms registered offices outside of India, and the partnership firms which is outside of India. For them 4AA form will be there. Okay, to get a PAN card. Okay, now the merits of PAN card. PAN card is required for IT return filing. Okay, these are the many, like all individual and entities that are eligible for income tax are expected to file their IT returns. A PAN card is necessary for filing of IT returns. Okay, merits why we require PAN card: to file the IT returns when our income is above the tax bracket, then we definitely have to file the returns. And this is the primary reasons for the individual as well as the business entities for to file the IT returns. You can say for them, individuals and corporates, they require a PAN card number. Okay, now next point, why we require the PAN card number, merits of PAN card number. Whenever we want to open a bank account, we require a PAN card number. PAN card is required in order to open a bank account, whether you are opening a saving account or current account or fixed deposits you are opening in any bank, public sector, private sector, cooperative. Okay, all banks require the PAN card number. Okay, again the PAN is required buying or selling of motor vehicles. Whenever you will buy or sell the motor vehicles above 5 lakh rupees, motor car, or you are selling or you are purchasing the car, any vehicle above 5 lakh rupees, you require the PAN card. Okay, it is whenever you will do this transaction above 5 lakhs of buying a purchase of vehicle, then you require a PAN card. Okay, this is a last thing from my side. Now we have completed a chapter number 2. Chapter number 1. Now we are going to see the chapter number 1 for personal financial planning. Anyone have any doubts in these students? Hello?
No, sir.
All of you are with me? All of you are able
Yes, sir.
to understand? These are two simple points. KYC
Yes, sir.
and
PAN card.
KYC and PAN card we have seen. Okay? Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute I will take. Just 1 minute. Okay. Thank you for attending. Have a good day. Tomorrow again at what time we have a class? Again I will see tomorrow's timetable.